Greetings, fellow Gorehounds, and welcome back to a Blood Splattered vlog. I'm the Horror Guru, and today I'm going to be talking about The Babysitter, Killer Queen, the sequel to Netflix's The Babysitter, directed by Mick G. Now, this film also happens to be directed by Mick G, but more than that, the core cast of the original film all pretty much return in some form in this movie, which is pretty damn cool. So needless to say, if you are a fan of the original Babysitter, much like I am, then this is the movie we have all been waiting for ever since the ending credits of that film. But the question is, does this movie live up to the expectations set by the original film, which was a total fucking blast, and I highly recommend it? And the answer to that question, at least for me, is an emphatic hell yes, it lives up to those expectations. Now, while it's true the Killer Queen is not as tight a package as the original Babysitter was, it makes up for that by being just batshit insane and going to 11 with everything. The humor is amped up, the gore is amped up, and even the characters are even larger than life in this movie, if that was even possible given the context of the original film. Because I don't know how many of you saw the original film, but if you did, you know that that movie was pretty fucking crazy in its own right. This movie is that movie on cocaine and speed. It's really fucking nuts! Which, to be fair, if you're a fan of the original Babysitter, but the original Babysitter was like your high bar for camp and anything past that is just way too campy, well, this movie might be a little much in that case. But if you're the type of person that wanted the Babysitter on steroids, then by God do you fucking get that. And to be honest, that's kind of what I was hoping for, so yeah. Now, that's not to say there isn't new stuff in this film. There's actually a bunch of new shit. There's new characters, there's new locations, there's new stakes. And even though the core theme of this movie pretty much aligns with the core theme of the original movie, this movie takes where the original movie left off and continues with that in a pretty good way. Basically, much like the original film, the boy has a whole lot of growing up to do, but just in a different, more mature way because he's a lot older in this instance, but I'll get more into that when we get to the spoilers. But anyway, one of the new additions that I really enjoy in this movie is that they expand the cult of the original film, which, if you haven't seen the original film, basically it turns out that the main kid's babysitter is the leader of a satanic cult and is trying to sacrifice him, a virgin, in order to, get whatever the fuck they want. Which, again, is spoilers for the original movie, but I'm honestly not sure how to talk about this movie, its sequel, without spoiling it, so I just hope we can deal. But the thing I really like about the expansion of the cult in this film is that in the original film, the cultists were all millennials. And in this film, all the new cultists are Zoomers. And so there's a funny contrast going on in this film between what the original cultists were like and what the new cultists were like. And I thought they did a really good job of subverting some expectations here and there, as well as just delivering some really funny generational observations. And yes, I especially appreciated the jokes at the expense of my generation, the millennials, because that shit was hilarious. And another new thing I really like about this movie is the ending of the movie, but of course that is full of a shit ton of spoilers, so I can't really talk about it right now, but needless to say, there is a lot of surprises in the third act of this film, and I was here for all of them. Especially one surprise in particular, which I should have known given what I know about the original film, but I didn't, so... You like that? I'm just waving my arms like a fucking idiot, because that's what these vlogs have evolved into over time. Me just making a fucking idiot of myself while talking about either really awesome movies or really terrible movies, or sometimes in between movies. Basically, just movies. Horror movies, that is. Anyway, my fellow Gorehounds, I think if you enjoy The Babysitter, then you're most likely going to enjoy Killer Queen. And if you don't, it's most likely going to be a result of the film being so amped up. And if the original film was kind of like your limit, then I get it if this film is surpassing that limit, even if I 100% disagree with whether that's a good thing. The one thing I will agree with is, like I said earlier, I do think the original film is a little tighter. And as a result of that, I prefer that film over this film, but I love them both, to be clear. And if you want to see Killer Queen for yourself, then head on over to Netflix to watch it. I'm not sponsored by Netflix, but I enjoy Netflix, so it is what it is. Hi, this is Future Guru reporting from the editing room, and I realized that I went this entire vlog without mentioning the fact that Killer Queen does in fact play Killer Queen by Queen, which, of course, makes this movie a instant 10 out of 10. Enough said. And with that all said, let us finally move on to the spoilers. And just to be perfectly clear, we are currently in the spoiler section. If you do not want this movie spoiled for you, pause this vlog right here, go watch the movie on Netflix, come back, and then finish the vlog from this point on. Okay, all right, we're all on the same page here now? All right, in that case, let's do this. So the original film was basically about a boy who is learning to grow up and stand up to the bullies in his life through his experience with this creepy cult that's run by this babysitter that he is low-key attracted to. Did I say low-key? I think I meant high-key. And in that film, he learned to stand up to the bullies that were the creepy cult by, systematically kicking the shit out of them and killing them, or getting them to kill themselves. Which is a thing that happens a lot in both of these movies now that I think about it. And if you were to sum up what he learned in that movie in one phrase, I think the thing that would most accurately describe it is he learned to man up. And this film, Killer Queen, which takes place 2 years after the original film, now puts the main character in the position of being in high school, and now that he's in high school, he has to learn a whole new world of manning up. And this manifests in a couple ways, but the key one, and the one that is actually a continuation of what he learned in the subplot of the original film, is learning to man up when it comes to the opposite sex, when it comes to the people he's attracted to. Basically when it comes to dating, sex, and the ladies, to put it bluntly. Which, if you recall in the original film, there was a character of Melanie who was essentially the girl next door that he was really attracted to, and in that film, he finally builds up the courage to kiss her, and it's a very sweet moment in the original film. Well, in this film, she has kind of moved on from him and now has a boyfriend, and he has kind of been regulated to, I don't know what else to call it other than the friend zone, though I know it's kind of taboo to call it that these days, but that's basically what it is. And to be fair to him, this is not a result of him being some nice guy asshole that is just clinging to the girl that he liked when he was younger. It's actually a result of her, even though she's dating someone else, sending him some really mixed signals. And when I say mixed signals, I mean that at the beginning of the movie, she's giving him all these cute, awkward glances that feel like they're straight out of a teen romance. And then at one point in the movie, they play 7 Minutes in Heaven, except it's not 7 Minutes in Heaven, it's 2 Minutes in Heaven because, haha, that's more realistic because they're fucking teenagers. I thought that joke was funny anyway. So they're playing 2 Minutes in Heaven, and then she just basically throws herself at him inside the closet. So when I say mixed signals, I mean serious mixed signals, because to remind you, during all this, she has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend is part of the reason why he's not going for it, because that would just make you an asshole to go for someone who's dating someone else. That's not respecting their boundaries. But she's almost begging him to not respect her boundaries. It's really weird. But this need to man up manifests in many other ways in this movie too. For example, there's a scene at the beginning of the movie with him and a guidance counselor where he's talking about all the shit he's been through as well as all the shit he's going through in high school. Because just so you know, in this movie, no one believes him that the original movie happened. They all think he was crazy and just smashed a car into his own house. So he has a lot of issues he's dealing with and a lot of anxiety after what happened in the original film. So it makes sense that he would need to talk to his guidance counselor a lot. But anyway, his guidance counselor isn't necessarily that good at his job, and at one point suggests that, maybe he should just get laid and it would stop him from worrying so much. And the thing I think is most hilarious about that scene is that, obviously, he is a shitty ass guidance counselor, and that is terrible advice for someone dealing with PTSD. But in this circumstance, in this instance, him getting laid is actually the solution to his problem, and he doesn't realize it yet. Now, if you haven't seen this movie yet, and you're just watching the spoiler section because you're trying to gauge whether or not you want to see it, then you're probably sitting there going how the fuck is him getting laid the solution to his problem? That's bullshit. That's ridiculous. Well, let me ask you this, good sir. What was the reason the babysitter was trying to sacrifice him in the first film in the first place? What is the reason the next generation of cultists are trying to sacrifice him in this film? The reason's actually right in front of your face, and if you haven't figured it out yet, you're gonna kick yourself, trust me. It's because the boy's a goddamn virgin. He is the ultimate pure sacrifice they need in order to complete their ritual so that they can get whatever the fuck they want. So naturally, according to the rules of the first film, him having sex removes that purity, which means the cultists have no more reason to go after him. Now, remember when I said earlier that the girl from the original film that he kissed is now sending him a lot of mixed signals and that she's dating some other guy? Well, It turns out the reason for all of that is because she was essentially breadcrumbing him, leading him on so that he would stay a virgin and stay obsessed with her, because she's the leader of the new generation of cultists. She needed him to be a virgin, and she could ensure that be the case by continuing to play his girl next door that he's constantly going for but can never get. Girl totally flips the nice guy thing on its head, and that would normally be pretty beautiful, but in this context, it's just fucking evil. But naturally, if she needs him to be a virgin, then she can't possibly be the girl that he mans up for, so the movie introduces another character, a brand new character, who is possibly my favorite character in either of these two movies because she's fucking awesome. And that's this new student who comes to the school with all these dark rumors about her having killed her parents in the past. And most of the rest of the movie is these two characters bonding while they take out the cultists one by one. Up until the point they end up alone together, and of course, they end up having sex. And now's the time I get to talk about my favorite twist in the movie, and that's the fact that at the end of this movie, Samara Weaving, the babysitter from the original film, returns, and she returns when they're doing the ritual and they get his blood because they kidnap the girl, and then, like, it's a thing. They kidnap the girl, they convince him, they get the blood, and then they start drinking the blood. But at this point, the two of them have had sex, and Samara Weaving knows this. And they all die from drinking the blood, and Samara Weaving's just like, well, I planned this whole thing the whole time. Because remember that scene at the end of the first movie where we kind of bonded and I kind of cried because turns out I actually do care about you? I care about you. And oh, by the way, that girl, I was her babysitter too, and I was there when her parents died, and my deal with the devil initially was to resurrect her because she died in a car accident that I caused. So it all kind of comes around in this kind of beautiful way where Samara Weaving gets a happy ending, even though she is also damned to hell. And I just gotta say, how can I say any bad things about a movie in which the day is saved thanks to sex, the most beautiful fucking thing in the world? That to me is a 2 thumbs up. By the way, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like, I jammed my pinky the other day and it's like bruised to all hell. You can see it's a little darker on the camera. Yeah, I jammed it while talking with my hands like I do in the vlogs on a chair. And it's not broken. It's not broken. But it does hurt to poke. So it's pretty damn bruised. I think I essentially sprained my pinky, which is the most ridiculous thing in the world. But whatever, I'll live. And with that said, my fellow gorehounds, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so that you're notified of my videos immediately upon their upload. And if you would like to help out my channel more directly, then be sure to check out my Patreon page. And remember, if you decide to go the Patreon route, even $1 a month can go a long way. Anyway, my fellow gorehounds, I just finished filming some new Blood Splattered Cinema content earlier tonight. One of the many scripts that I wrote over the summer. And you probably noticed that I have the new Horror Guru shirts just kind of sitting here on display. That's because I was going through them to find the one that was the most clean to record in, because some of them need a wash, and now I have separated them so that the dirty ones could get washed. Why am I talking about my laundry? I should just finish this vlog. This vlog is going nowhere now. Watch Killer Queen. I enjoyed it, and peace out.